Welcome to the program today. It is September, yes, it is October 2nd. We are already past September. This is Charlie McGrath's Wide Awake News, and it is Wednesday, so it is time for Karen's Corner. I'm very much looking forward to talking with my guest today, and also, though, I want to comment on last week's program with Pamela Osley from LifeColorsCity.com. Turns out it was a rather controversial program about going into alternate dimensions, which some people don't believe at all, different universes, aura colors. So I think that we're going to have Pam back. I'm going to see if I can get her on the 16th so that we can take some calls from listeners, because I certainly don't have all of the answers. I don't even have all of the questions, but I am sincerely on a quest for truth. And I believe that we are drowning under the quantity of lies we've been fed, and the quality of our lives will continue to suffer until we break through and understand that we are much more than we have been lied to believe. I mean, imagine slowly awakening in the morning to the soft sounds of the birds singing in your garden and walking out to greet the sun while gathering fresh produce for your breakfast and fully enjoying the fruits of your labor and the bounty of your harvest. Imagine living privately with your family on maybe 2 hectares or enough land to where you actually have room for medicinal herbs of every kind, for fruit-bearing trees and various gardens of vegetables and edible flowers. Everything that you and your family would need in order to be self-sufficient and truly thrive. The borders of your property would flow into the land, utilizing trees and shrubs and bushes, forming whatever pleasing design best suited you and your family, who are also awakening. And after a leisurely breakfast, each of you would go again outside and begin the day by taking care of your land and animals. And once that was accomplished, you would actually have the true freedom of time, because instead of a just over broke existence working at things that we hate, our true job would be the joy of being. And true freedom, because we can live in peace and higher consciousness where all individuals are unique and equally valued. Well, why don't we live like that? I believe it's because of our belief systems. And until we have the courage to question everything we think we know in order to decide for ourselves what is really going on around us, we will continue to be misled and lied to. Now, my guest today is a woman whose work I greatly admire, as well as her ability to remain calm, cool, and collected while talking about some of these issues that are so ugly. And she is the producer of the movie Thrive. She is married to Foster Gamble. This is Kimberly Gamble, and welcome so much, Kimberly, to the program today.
Thank you so much, Karen. It's a pleasure to join you.
What did you think about what I read in terms of imagining the kind of life that we could lead? Do you think something like that would actually be possible?
I absolutely think that that's possible, and I loved that you articulated that vision, because I think that it's critical that we actually allow ourselves to take the time to picture down into the details of what it could be, because without that, we can't really get there. And I think it's actually been once. I could tell you when we first started filming for Thrive, we went to a conference once, and where some of the folks who are in the movie were going to be, so it made it easy to find a few of them in one place. And there were some young, probably between 20 and 25-year-old students there, and a room full of bright, really committed, caring, thoughtful young people. And so we turned on the cameras and we said, hey, describe to us your vision of what's possible. And out of the 20 young people who we interviewed, only 2 could actually articulate a vision of a thriving world. And And it really impressed me deeply. And it's one of the reasons that we spent the time that we did in the movie Thrive, articulating the vision of what we believe is possible. So yeah, I'm right with you. I believe that it's critical to have a vision if we're going to get there. And I believe we can get there.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I know that I resonate very deeply with what you have to say and what you bring to the table. And you were pretty much, though, a child of privilege. Would you describe for our listeners really just briefly your background and then how you woke up and began to take steps to enable others to learn and to assimilate what you've learned?
Well, let's see. So my background, yes, it is a privilege. And all kinds of privilege. For sure, access and opportunity. And just earlier today, I was actually talking to somebody about the high school that I went to, which was one of the first free schools in Southern California, Oakwood School. And we were able to design our own curriculum. And when we took tests, we then, we would grade the test ourselves because the point was an opportunity to self-reflect on how were we doing in our, quest to learn something. And so I think one of the things I was gifted with was this formative experience of learning how to learn in a joyous environment where I didn't miss a single day of high school. We loved it. And what you were talking about in the very beginning about having an open mind and the courage to do that, I think it's a combination of being open-minded and discerning and learning how to entertain possibilities without thinking you have to either accept or reject an idea simply to learn about it. And so today, I'm just in the awareness of what a gift it was to have that experience because it's followed me. Now I'm 61 years old and I went on to UC Berkeley in the 60s, late 60s. So I was there and I went specifically to learn about civil disobedience. I think I always had a strong spiritual orientation and a sense of our connection to, us all being fundamentally one and connected. And so through that, I was committed to helping to stop what I considered to be an unjust war, and that just kind of one thing led to the next. So I worked for Newsweek as a correspondent. After that, I believed that informed people would make better decisions, and so I wanted to be engaged in helping to spread, worthwhile perspectives and information. And turned out Newsweek wasn't really the forum for me to do that in all the ways that I wanted, but it was a great experience. And I just kept kind of pulling on the thread. One of the old adages in journalism is, which is what I studied, is if a story doesn't make sense, follow the money. You see it in any kind of a crime scene. People come in and who had a motive to commit this crime, right? Was there any kind of financial motive? And it's the same in anything. And I consider what's going on the planet today to be a major crime scene. And so I was motivated to follow the money. And that's pretty much what I did. And, learned slowly and had, in some ways, and that had quantum leaps of insight and understanding, and met my husband, and he came at life from a slightly different perspective as a scientist and a comprehensivist. He's really someone who sees the huge big picture and who had been looking into the kind of the fundamental pattern of the universe, what makes the universe work, and is there a template for sustainability that we could learn about and emulate as people. So we came at things differently. And so the waking up, I think I've been a passionate learner for as long as I can remember, and I do credit my high school experience to being really pivotal in not knocking that out of me, which is what I think happens to so many traditionally educated kids.
Indoctrination centers.
Yeah, exactly. That I got to really stay, learning how to learn. And at this day and age in particular, when information changes from one day to the next so quickly and technology is developing so quickly, information isn't what it's about. Knowing a fact today isn't going to liberate you, whereas knowing how to gather and process information and to form your own opinion. And one of the things that we've done is Foster is really, really good at this, and he's been a great exposure for me in listening to all different sides of an issue, so that we, get information from the left and the right and everybody in between about something, so that then we are with that. Then we think ourselves, well, what do you think about that? And what do I think about that? And what about this? And it's that whole art of critical thinking, rather than just kind of accepting a party line. So the waking up in terms of, to the extent of, the question I had was, how did it happen? How did we get here? Because I actually have had such positive experiences with people. And every work situation I've been in, I found, filled with creative, competent people, resilient and innovative. And you watch a tragedy arrive and you watch people rise to the occasion and be resilient and creative and responsive. So I thought, how could it be that so many people on this planet are suffering so gravely that we're harming every imaginable ecosystem? And, all this power just keeps on being consolidated into the hands of a few. Like, it just seemed like, how is that happening? So I spent a long time, Foster and I spent a long time doing the research to kind of figure out what was behind that, and most importantly, what can we do about it? So that's what Thrive is, and thrivemovement.com. You can see the movie for free there. It's had over 20 million views that I can document. It's in 27 different languages. And the last year and a half it's been out, and it's really our best attempt at putting together a coherent picture of what's causing this consolidation of power and money into the hands of a few, and what can we do about it?
It's an excellent video. Let's see, I may have to plug in my speakers or my headset. I was thinking it was working without it here, or else maybe, Kimberly, if you mute your mic, I'll just ask you a question so that I can plug it in. But I agree with you that it's so critical to look for things, and the movie is really exceptional, and it's very, very tastefully done. And I would like you to comment on something that I heard you talk about yesterday in an interview, which I thought just was nailing it, and that is passionate intent with unconflicted behavior, because I don't think that a lot of us fully grasp exactly what you mean by that.
Well, it's really the most important motto for me in my life. I have it up in my wall right here. I have a big board that I put everything I need to remember on, and that's right at the top. And what I mean by passionate intent and unconflicted behavior is that I believe that life wants to live, right? I mean, you plant a seed, there's a momentum toward growth and light and evolution. And I believe that support comes when we align with that kind of natural growth of the universe. I believe that happens when we align our behavior with our intentions. So I could give an example. It's much easier to come up with a passionate intent. Let's say if I want to quit smoking, that could be passionate desire of mine, but I need then not to go buy a pack of cigarettes. That would be conflicted behavior. That's kind of a simple example, but I know the way that it came to me, just sort of one of, in self-reflection, one of those squirming realizations that I had was when I was in college. Like I said, I went to Berkeley, and I was part of a group that was working to stop nuclear and coal and other dirty and dangerous technologies. And so I would get my paycheck from work. It was on a Friday, and then I would drive across town to go to this meeting that we had like every other week. I think it was. We'd have a meeting of activists who were engaged in this. And I would swing into the parking lot at Bank of America where I could easily deposit my paycheck on my way to the meeting. And, so my passionate intent was to stop dangerous and dirty technologies. But my behavior, because I was uninformed, was that I was depositing my money into Bank of America. And it turns out that the way the system works is that those big corporations that are doing these dangerous and dirty technologies get the loans, their cheap capital to work with, they get from the major banks, Bank of America and Wells Fargo and the others. And so at that time, Bank of America was underwriting these same corporations that I was working to stop. And in addition to that, what I didn't understand at the time was that they used their customers' deposits to make these loans, and that because of fractional reserve, which is the system of money that we have, where the banks are actually allowed to loan out 10 times more money than they have on deposit at any given time. So they could take my, $100 deposit and turn it in, leverage that 10 times to be supporting the corporations that then I'm driving a few blocks more to try to stop. So that's conflicted behavior. My behavior was not aligned with my passionate intent. And I believe that as long as those aren't aligned, we can't get where we're going and our visions won't be realized. However, I also believe that when we can align our behavior with our intention, that's the way it gets manifest. And getting informed about what happens with our money, how do the systems operate that we're participating in, is a part of how we can empower ourselves to get the personal lives that we want and the lives together on this planet that we want.
I agree fully, and I think that many of us still have conflicted behavior, and we are incongruent with what we'd like to see and what we are enabling because we haven't connected the dots yet. And I realized after this whole so-called gassing, this massacre in Syria, which I was very affected by, but I also remember the picture of the Kurdish father holding his daughter years ago. And it doesn't matter to me whether it's a bomb in the middle of the night or gas, but if you want to talk about toxic chemicals, and the United States or the not so United States corporate government actually just having the audacity to act like they're shocked. Well, here's one of your passions as well. What about the toxins they drop on our heads daily through the geoengineering chemtrail chemicals that are aluminum, barium, strontium? Let's gas everybody slowly and kill the planet, but we're really upset that you did this when it's all disinfo anyway. And I think also something about being incongruent is we can sit around a dinner table and actually discuss the fact that the president, that the House, that all of these people are traitors, and that we are the largest gun running, drug running, pornography, and unfortunately even going as far down into pedophilia. Our government, all governments participate in this, and yet we're not willing to follow the trail enough to understand that our living our lives every day as usual is completely incongruent with what our stated beliefs are and what we allow in our name.
I agree with that. I think, though, that what's happening, one of the things that having the successful outreach that Thrives just brought to my life, exposure to so many people from all over, is that I think one of the things that happens is people get overwhelmed. It's like, where can you even
Yes.
start? When you try to think about how to make my behavior congruent with my values, it's like, oh my gosh, just, from the get-go, there's some inconsistency there. And I think it's that it's just to begin. It's not to be perfect. It's to begin, because I think that the more we do it and take the steps, it begets the next step and the next step. And I know that one of the things that we've been doing we have a solutions hub at thrivemovement.com where I mentioned there are, over 875 groups from all over the world. And what it is it's people who are choosing to, take on some issue and engage at the level that's right for them, whatever is their purpose and passion, and to not feel like they have to do it all. And I think that's a good step.
It is. And to be proactive is a good step. We will be right back after this break with Kimberly Carter Gamble. We will be taking questions if you'd like. 877-342-6673.
Of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Heart and Body Extract has a 23-year proven track record of using certified organic herbs that make up an excellent formula to balance and support the heart and circulatory system. In as little as 2 weeks, you can feel amazing results when your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements every day, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, and even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com and now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae species found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. Bio Superfood is a strong defender in the fight against radiation exposure. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity, is safe, and has no contraindications whatsoever. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. That's spelled BIOAGE.com, BioAge.com. Or you can call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Dr. Robert Rowan, MD.
They literally do miracles for a wide variety of conditions, from infection to autoimmune conditions and beyond that.
I have a very close relative who was faced with a severe challenge to her immune system, and my father, as a family physician, suggested that she take the Carnivora. She took the Carnivora 3 times a day, and 3 weeks later, her condition was completely eliminated. It supported her immune system to such a degree that she's perfectly fine and healthy now.
This is Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International. Buy 2, get 1 free on Carnivora capsules. You must use the promotion code BCAPS3. That's BCAPS3 when purchasing online at carnivora.com or calling 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. Protect your immune system. It's the only one you've got.
I'm not very educated.
All right. We are back with the second segment here. We were talking about becoming congruent with your actions, with what we say, aligning actually with the way that we live our lives. And it's a challenge. It's definitely a struggle because we truly have been subjected to the indoctrination of government through the school systems. I'm glad that you went to one, Kimberly, where you actually were opened up. Now it's getting very hard for children to actually learn something. I call them children purposefully because those who are in power refer to them as kids and us as chattel, and, they're children. We're not just animals, but our children are being taught now to simply obey. And I think that one of the largest problems that we have is that we have actually been trained out of our morality and into obedience.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that, no matter whatever the solutions, the array of them, they all begin with our knowing ourselves and our knowing what is our purpose and our particular passion that we can each bring to provide a way out of this. And so I think, all that's going on in the schools needs to be countered as much as possible by what can happen in every other aspect of a child's life, to encourage them to explore who they really are, and for anyone at any age to explore what's your purpose, because I think that that's really what it ends up being all about, to figure out, like one of the things we noticed and have kind of unpacked on the Solutions Hub at thrivemovement.com is the different levels of engagement that people are naturally inclined toward. At any given time, some people are really oriented toward hands-on, in immediate intervention. There's somebody who's hungry and I'm going to help feed them. And there's, somebody else who is naturally inclined to intervene at the systemic level, whether it's our banking system or our food system or our education system. And somebody else who really wants to engage at the whole consciousness level, to shift the consciousness that allows these systems to perpetrate these immediate needs, right? And there's no better place to be. There's simply, what are you drawn to at any particular time? And what is the issue that most impassions you? And then to begin the process of aligning your values and your actions along with that understanding of yourself and who you are and what's the best use of you in your life on the planet at this time. And I think, I wish exploring your purpose were the main endeavor as part of our education system. But as it is, luckily, there are tools. There are tools on our website. I know Deepak Chopra and others have all kinds of exploring your purpose tools. And I think that that's really a valuable place to start.
It definitely is. And I was very affected by Don Miguel Ruiz years ago with the 4 and now 5 agreements.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that if we focus on that, if we truly focus on ourselves, and the first one is to be impeccable with your word and to not use it against others or yourself, but to use it in a positive, constructive way. And then to not take things personally, because what other people do really is about their reaction. And as long as we know that we're coming from a position of doing the best we can in the moment, it's really not about what they think about us. It's about how we stand with ourselves when we can look in the mirror. To not make assumptions. That's a big one that I have difficulty with. Well, both of those. And to also then to be skeptical and to learn to listen and to always do your best and know your best will change. If you're sick, if you're drunk, if you are just so angry, you're spitting fire, to be able to recognize when you are out of alignment so that you can correct it, make amends to the people who need to be addressed, and then to not carry the big ball of guilt around. I think, especially from going to Catholic school for my formative years, is truly detrimental to our being able to raise ourselves up or step into a higher consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, any of that, all of those 4 agreements are so important, whatever the system there are so many people now out there who can articulate the vision that each one of us with our different styles, there's someone for anybody to take the inspiration and the tools and then run with them, in terms of knowing ourselves and like you say, self-reflecting and self-correcting. That's what it's all about. And I think the critical thinking aspect of it and freeing ourselves. I mean, honestly, I think in today's world, I have not met a person who believes that humanity is doing the best we could be doing. You know, we have a huge array of beliefs about what's the best solution. But in terms of that core understanding that we are not where we need to be, and then to get the sense of self-knowing and empowerment that we need each of us to be involved in helping to remedy that and create the life that we can, in fact, envision.
Agreed. That one of the things that I have been attempting to do, as well as I learn myself, is not to scare the hell out of people with everything I know, which is a challenge, and I only know a tip of the iceberg. I have a general pretty good sense of all of this, and it's such a dark picture that people are not open to it. And I'd like you to address something else that you talked about that I think is very important, and that is the tone of the information that you give to your friends. And tell us what happened as you first were attempting to share what you were learning with your friends.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's so... It is a dark picture, of course, you know, peeling back what's really going on. I think the hardest realization for me was that was the intention behind it. You know, when you just on the banking system alone in America, you know, I mean, I think people need to can recognize now that, you know, our interests, the people's interests are not being taken into account here, right? There's just an exceedingly corrupt elite banking system. And so... Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to share my acronym for ELITE here, which is evil, lying, inbred, traitorous, eugenicist. But sorry, that's not coming out of love, but I thought you'd appreciate it.
It's definitely a sad picture, you know. So I think that for me, the awakening, once I really got, wow, what I'm experiencing is human failure. You know, it looks like it's just human failure is actually success for somebody. This is actually an orchestrated takeover. And that when you look at the education system, it just didn't happen to go this way, that we're, you know, teaching kids to obey rather than to think critically. That didn't just happen that way. That had to be part of an orchestrated plan that's in cahoots with the whole rest of it. And as you know, we do describe all of this thoroughly in Thrive, and you can see it, like I said, for free at thrivemovement.com. But for me, the challenge was that I thought that other people would want to know, because ultimately I find it to be very empowering. I mean, if there's a rapist loose in the neighborhood, it doesn't help to pretend like it isn't happening. You know, you need to identify what are the patterns of how it's happening, and work with each other to to get as informed as possible so that you can stop it from happening. It's not so that you go kill the rapist. It's so that you stop him from being able to do what he's doing and take him out of that position. And that's sort of what I thought. It's like, wow, I'm waking up to getting this better picture of what's going on. I think everybody would want to hear this. And in fact, what I found is that really people want to hear it if they know that there's something they can do about it. But just to get a bunch of bad news is not sufficiently empowering to people. And so Thrive is really couched in the whole message of solutions, because I realize that's really the story that needs to be told. Isn't just what's wrong, but how can we make it right?
Excellent point there. All right, listeners, get your glass of water for the ending segment. We'll be right back after these messages.
And I'm here to tell you, I believe that Chris and the folks over at SeedsNow.com offer the best product at the best prices with the best service of anybody in the market. But don't take my word for it. Listen to what some of their customers have to say. Joshua in Florida writes, exceeded my expectations. Shipping was prompt and a number of my plants are already starting to sprout. Thanks for being great. And Ryan in California writes, I just received my Homestead Seed Bank, my all-in-one prepper pack, and seed-to-seed storage and growing guidebook, and I could not be more pleased. Thanks, Seeds Now. Now I can start growing and get off the GMOs. Keep up the great work. And the list goes on and on. Guys, it's time to make seedsnow.com an integral part of your long-term preparedness strategy. Please call them at 877-344-4669. That number again, 877-344-4669. Or better yet, visit them today at seedsnow.com.
Is what you are currently doing to relieve your pain working for you? Do you have chronic pain in your knees, your elbows, your joints, your back, your muscles? Have you tried going to the doctors and the naturopathic doctors, the back cracks, the motions, the potions, the lotions, and nothing seems to really last? There's a new product called a placebo enhancer. Now, don't laugh. The name is to avoid tyranny from the drug cartels that want to keep everybody on a leash. This product is advanced science. It's cutting edge. It's quantum physics-based, energy-infused liquid suspension with a transdermal magnesium applicant. You spray a couple sprays on where it hurts, and that's all you have to do, and within 20 minutes it's in every one of your cells. Go to painsucks.info and get the information. That's painsucks.info. Again, you can get a free trial bottle. Just pay shipping and handling at painsucks.info. Your pain isn't going to go away on its own, so get your trial bottle immediately. Painsucks.info.
Charlie McGrath of WideAwakeNews.com here with a question for my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. What do they know that we don't? Insiders and a who's who list of elite have made it crystal clear that we are headed for catastrophe, putting out warning after warning, urging people to batten down the hatches. Billionaire George Soros has recently been dumping stocks and at the same time acquiring millions in gold. In fact, in a recent interview, he was quoted as saying, "I'm not here to cheer you up. The situation is as serious and difficult as I've experienced in my career." Out of control government deficit spending and a Federal Reserve that's only solution seems to be print more fiat currency will lead to a weaker dollar and massive inflation on necessity items such as energy and food. If you have wealth to protect, please visit my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. Gabe Elton and the folks at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion have many Wide Awake News customers because they're honest, they're fair, and they won't sell you paper promises or product they do not have. Call Gabe Elton at 800-552-4109. That number again, 800-552-4109, or visit them online at austincoins.com.
Make a promise, take a vow, trust your feelings, it's easy now. Understand the voice within and feel a change already beginning. Oh, tell me again.
Understand the voice within. And that is truly where we need to go to look for these answers. As we are trying to figure out what our world is about, not only do we need to educate ourselves and books through the computers, but we also truly do need to go within, because that is where a lot of our particular answers can be found. We are each unique aspects of this divine consciousness that runs through us equally, and regardless of labels, we have a divine umbilical cord that we can plug in at any time. And as more and more of us learn about our world and what is going on, and the few who are abusing us, in my opinion, it's more important than ever to understand not only why our world looks the way it does, but how we're participating and what we can do to change things. And it's why, in my opinion, unity is crucial, and so are strikes and boycotts, because we outnumber them greatly. I'm fully in support of the upcoming truckers strike from October 11th through the 13th, possibly through the 15th, and more because right now profit is king, and a lot of these just over broke jobs are being forced upon us because we have forgotten our own value and our own morality. You know, government-sanctioned murder in terms of war is not the way to solve a problem. And I think that until we can really step into that higher consciousness and eliminate these wars and war profiteers, that we will continue to miss out on actually being able to live in this next dimension we're going through, or if we're going through the center of our galaxy. You know, everyone's talking about higher consciousness, but it will remain ethereal, in my opinion, until we can fully understand that we are all connected and one. What say you, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think that core recognition is at the heart of the matter, and I really think that so many people are there, and it doesn't take everybody. It takes some. That, if you look in terms of the American Revolution, that was 6% of the people. So in terms of making active changes, I think it needs to be that some people will lead the way to make it possible and more easy, make it easier for other people to follow in making wiser choices. And of course, it begins with a sense of our oneness with everyone. And I think that a lot of people have that. And I think that it grows based on our experiences. And so, I don't know, I think about people providing the opportunity for others to allow themselves to feel it, because there's just so much encouragement in this, kind of deficit consciousness and scarcity, where if I have it, you don't have it. And, all this pitting us against each other instead of working together. And I really do see it changing. I have to say, I just feel like I'm exposed all the time to people waking up all over the world and people joining together and learning. I think these times call for us to go further than we've ever gone in our own capacity and in our capacity to work effectively with one another and set all the little personality differences and all that, and let those be while we simply learn how to act in accord with our understanding that we are all one and we're all in this together.
Yeah, I just have an interesting comment that's in the chat room that says, Karen, have you ever pondered the notion that there are those who don't have the divine spark that you refer to? And from my end, no, I think that there is just one essence to the universe that runs through all of us, although it's how it's interpreted and how it's brought into a reality are different, but I think it's the same essence, and we're confused. What do you think about that?
I don't see it. I believe that divine spark is in everyone, that we are all one and connected. I certainly believe that there are psychopathic people, many of whom are running countries and the covert operations that are impacting all of us. But so I don't believe that everybody's enlightened and wise, but I believe that this spark of consciousness is one spark and one consciousness that we come from and return to. So I recognize that. I have, the thing about passionate intent and unconflicted behavior. The other big thing I have up that I look at a lot is that says, I'm a friend of your soul and an enemy of your project. And that's kind of the way I try to do it and hold that, is that on a soul level, we are one. And I'm going to work my damnedest to stop some of the projects that are going on out there that people are behind, and to obsolete certain people from power. But I don't ever want to separate so completely that I forget that ultimately we're one.
I fully agree. And it's difficult, to wrap my head around some of these concepts that I can say how we're all different aspects of the one divine source. That's mind-boggling. And some of the things that we talked about last week in terms of auras and colors and different dimensions and universes. Do you believe that there are other dimensions and other universes that are existing here now?
Yes, I do. I believe that there are multiple dimensions operating all at the same time. I believe that it's unfathomable to me that we would be the only sentient life in the universe. So I believe that there are other life forms. I believe that there's interaction on this planet. I believe that there's consciousness which is not in form that impacts life on this planet as well. So I didn't, I always had a strong sense of kind of a oneness with people, but I didn't always have the sense of the range of multi-dimensions that I now understand and believe to be operative. And I'm very grateful for it. I'll tell you that. And I pray every day in that alignment to be aligned with the higher consciousness that I believe is also here helping us.
I do as well, different ways. I have little mantras, and my meditation at times is sitting out and looking at the beauty that surrounds me. I am never tired of looking at the trees, and although I do get upset when I see the chemtrailing and the trees dying, and so it is there's a part of me that really wants to protect everyone, and I understand that that's not possible, but it's another reason too why the 15th of the month, at least there's a day offered for the intention of energy, for people getting together to try at least to break that chain around our mind and our heart. And I know that people are afraid of a strike, and a lot of people we're so caught up into needing money. But, in my opinion, poverty consciousness is also a lie, because there's more than enough to go around. We just have been trained that some people, by divine right, that divinity again, that they are the ones who have to tell us how to obey. But who benefits, They do, and a lot of us are living to die, and I think instead that we need to come around to be dying to live and to fully explore the beauty of who we are. And one of the best, if not the best, actually, the best definition of what our true job is came from the Anastasia series, which says that God really only asks that we have conjoint creation, bringing joy to all who contemplate it. And to me, that is just profound. Are you familiar with that series?
Yes. In fact, I was reading some of that on my recent camping trip.
Yeah, fascinating. Now, we're just about to go into the meditation for the water. And Kimberly, you have said that you're familiar with Dr. Emoto's work, and I'm glad that you want to join us for this. Do you have any final comments or anything you'd like to say before we go into it?
I just appreciate being on your show and meeting you, and I appreciate the independent media that's out there these days, like this show, that just help, give a voice and an opportunity for us all to know how many of us there are out here working to make a better world in whatever way we can. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to the meditation.
Well, thank you. And Brett, if you would begin to raise the music in the background. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are more than we know. Water has memory. We can become temples of our own holy water through our actions, through our thoughts, through our intention. So it's my intention that we are all blessed by this meditation. And as we bless our water and then drink our water, we are also stepping into a higher consciousness that will benefit everyone around us. All right. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kimberly, from thrivemovement.com.
It's nature's oldest therapy and plays an essential role in destroying viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, and fungus, and keeping the human body healthy and strong. Now, you can give your body and your immune system a mega boost of disease-fighting oxygen with all-natural Oxy-C. With so many people now leading a sedentary indoor lifestyle, most are in a chronic state of oxygen deprivation, which sets up a perfect environment for disease, general fatigue, and a host of other symptoms. Oxy-C is yours in simple, convenient capsules. Nothing to mix, nothing to hassle with. Take it with juice or water anytime. Feel a cold or flu approaching? Have no energy or spark anymore? Try all-natural Oxy-C and prepare to be amazed. Oxy-C is only available from New Earth Health Solutions at Rense.com. Look for the New Earth banner at Rense.com.
In 2007, one man, Mike Dillard, made 5 predictions which forecasted the 2008 economic crisis and the pending Eurozone collapse. 3 brand new, shocking, must-watch videos with predictions for the coming year. www.the3videos.com. Over the past year, Mike Dillard has helped thousands of ordinary people create and recover wealth by tapping into the black box investing strategies the big banks don't want you to know about. www.the3videos.com. As the European banking system implodes and governments collapse at breakneck speeds, the next 12 months will be the most anticipated and important months in modern human history. This will make 2008 look like a walk in the park. Everyone will be affected. Go to www.the3videos.com now. Learn how to prepare your family and prosper during the global financial collapse.
You're listening to the Rense Radio Network, nationwide and worldwide on the net and at Rense.com.
IRN